I had LASIK monovision PKR surgery 14 weeks ago, and was blinded in my right eye due to staph infection that turned into MRSA, and then extensive scar damage tissue, and now I have to have a coronary transplant. And I can't have a coronary transplant because of the MRSA infection, so I'm under Callahan and the Lions Foundation care like every other day. And I need a malpractice lawyer that will take an eye case, because I've called numerous lawyers in Birmingham and Montgomery, and no one takes eye cases. I don't know who to turn to.
Well, they're complicated. Go ahead. They're complicated cases, one. Two, there are a lot of times conflicts of interest because there are a whole lot of eye surgeons in town. But also that particular, the contraction of MRSA is one of those things that sometimes is preventable and sometimes it's not preventable. We or any lawyer would have to know a little bit more about how you contracted MRSA and what the conditions were while they were operating. I'll tell you that the lawyers you've probably talked to are good lawyers. There's a lot of good malpractice lawyers right here in Birmingham, and their criteria is generally going to be the same. And it's just like we talked to the person just a minute ago about the standard of care. Did a physician breach the minimum standard of care, which allowed, or the facility, perhaps the facility wasn't sterilized, but you have to prove that in order to make a claim and to get through the litigation process. So it sounds to me like, it's one of those cases where, and once you get MRSA, I mean, it's a tough situation, very tough situation. But it sounds like you've done your due diligence in contacting attorneys, and I'm sure we could take a look at it and see. But those cases are just very difficult. I'm just unfortunately, they are.
Yeah, and like Kim was saying, one of the things that we as the plaintiffs, we have the burden of proof, and the way that we prove there's any potential medical negligence is through expert testimony and other doctors. And another doctor would have to come in and testify that there was some breach of the standard of care along the way, and that's where the conflict may come in that Kim was talking about just a second ago.